Welcome everybody to another episode of Kick and Make Up MMA. I'm your host, the American Hybrid, Nick Cunningham. With me as always, Jeremy JD Dorsey. What's going on, man?
Take two.
Take two, man.
Man.
So all we're about to say is gonna be super fake for us.
Yes.
But you guys aren't gonna know it.
Yep.
But you are, because we just told you.
Yep.
So
we're transparent here at Kick and Make Up.
right.
You know?
For the people that are around, this is the second time they get to hear this. So it is our 10th episode. Why don't you say where we're at?
We are at Parkside Grill and Lounge in Moline, Illinois, if you can read that. Big shout out to everybody here at Parkside. I'm going to be eating later. Can't wait. But yeah, big shout out to everybody here, man. They've been more than gracious enough to allow us to come and set up shop here. George Rangel, everybody here involved. It's awesome to be able to have a place to come and do a show like this and actually have people, you know, in the background. And there's going to be tons of people here tonight waiting for UFC 163.
I like to say that too. It's UFC 163 tonight. So tonight's show is actually special for a couple of reasons. The first time that we've done a preview show along with the regular Kick and Make Up show, and it's also our 10th anniversary. So say it again, like we're gonna celebrate our 10th. Cheers to you, man.
Last time, and I'm gonna say it again. You know, we were gonna do the champagne shower or something like that. But maybe when we get to episode 100.
Oh man.
So what is the 10th show anniversary? What are we getting that one? Like, is that like the plastic anniversary?
I think
or
so, man. Yeah.
Styrofoam?
Like those forks and spoons that look real but they're not real.
Yep.
That you watch sometimes.
How about the paper plates, the thick ones, not the cheap ones, the extra thick ones? Yeah. Those are awesome.
Nice.
That's what I'm talking about.
I like that.
Yeah.
So we are going to get some of the particulars out of the way before we preview 163 tonight. This is the Kick and Make Up show. You can go to www.kickandmakeup and see all of our archive show. When I say all, I mean 9, the past 9, because this is episode 10. So
don't forget about the interview series. We got tons of other stuff on there too. So don't shortchange us.
That's true.
Even though this is episode 10, we probably have about like 20, 25 video clips up there all together. So you know, we're doing
I'm trying
something.
to be humble, because the opposite of that is not good for me. So I'd rather, I'll take the humble road now, because like you said, we get to 100. There's no humbleness left.
Yeah.
So anyway, Kick and Make Up at Gmail is where you guys can email us and let us know how you think of the show, or what you think of the show, and guess we should have on, anything and everything. If you want to get a little bit faster responses, please search Kick and Make Up in Facebook for our Facebook page. I threw up some polls today of who you think's going to win tonight, pictures and everything too. We've got a lot of people adding each week, and it's going good. So Kick and Make Up Kick and Make Up Facebook page is good, and then if you want to go to Twitter, it's at Kick and Make Up, or mine at Hybrid MMA. So a few avenues to hit us up at.
Lots. Sometimes I give out my phone number, but I'm not gonna do that today.
I'll give like Happy Joe's number or something like you do when you're back in the day when girls hit on you. You're like, here's my number, and it was like Denny's. So I'll try not to do that. But anyway, so that's the particulars. Like I said, how we do this show is we have the high kick of the week, which sums up the best thing going on for the week, or the best thing that went on during the week. The low kick was the most negative, talked about thing for the week, and that's some BullKick, which is where we just go off for 10 some minutes on whatever,
whatever annoys us.
Yeah, whatever's. I hate to say that too, because there's kids around. So if there wasn't, I would not say WTF, but I will.
This is a family establishment, so we're trying to keep it clean. Yeah.
Right. So I will say just really what's going on in MMA. But before we do that, I'd like to first talk a little bit about Bellator that was on Wednesday night, Bellator 97. It was an awesome card. Main event was Michael Chandler defending his lightweight belt versus David Rickels, and he just ran through him, 44 seconds. Okay, David Rickels is called the caveman. This dude's big, came out the club. Michael Chandler, if anybody knows, is a smaller fighter, but he looked ridiculously quick, and I mean, 44 seconds about sums it up, saying what type of fight it was.
Yeah, it kind of sucks to see fights that end so quickly, but when you see somebody come out there and dominate, man, that's what they're training for.
Yeah.
Like you can't really be mad that you got something that wasn't probably as spectacular as you would want it to be. But hey, both guys did a great job.
And that's what I expected. Michael Chandler was the guy that took out Eddie Alvarez, Bellator's #1 guy. So him coming in there, wanting to keep that belt, putting it up against David Rickels, who isn't a huge name. So we're still seeing a lot of good stuff from Bellator. And like I said, we'll just kind of roll into the co-main event, which was awesome. Ben Askren out of Rufus Sports. So hopefully we can get a little bit of Askren love when we go up to Milwaukee. This camp is ridiculous. But and another guy out of it, Ben Askren, defeated Andrey Koreshkov, TKO'd him in the 4th round. And why I really want to talk about Ben Askren is because he is one of those guys that has probably the most unique jiu-jitsu and wrestling combination. They call it funky jiu-jitsu because he does so many weird holds, and I liked how the announcer's there, and I might steal this. They say the sticky. He's so sticky on it because he just would not let up, and he would pepper him for 5 rounds, or for a potentially 5-round fight, and at the end of the 4th, you got the TKO. So
how annoying would that be to face an opponent who is, so talented, so skilled that you can't shake them off?
Could do nothing.
Like a lot of people, they pride themselves in their stand-up, and then to have something, somebody who's sticking to you like glue, it's that has to be horrible to play against.
And that's why Anthony Pettis' wrestling has stepped up a little bit, because he's got Ben Askren, and anybody else at Rufus Sport. They've got one of the best wrestlers in the game and best jiu-jitsu guys as far as unique jiu-jitsu. Because, jiu-jitsu gets old. It does. Everybody can armbar and rear naked choke, but this guy is, man, for any of you guys that haven't seen a Ben Askren fight, Google him immediately and you will be amazed. So, those were the co-main and main event. King Mo on the card. Wins the light heavyweight summer series, defeating Jacob Noe. This same type of thing. Wrestler took him down, didn't let Jacob Noe do anything. King Mo's a guy that's good for the company. He's an outlandish, outspoken guy. There was a lot of bad blood between both these guys before, and King Mo backed up everything he said he was going to do. So he will fight for the light heavyweight belt.
Every promotion needs someone who is, a ticket seller, a pay-per-view, generator. So, and that's exactly what he is. And especially when you have a promotion like Bellator that is, sort of on the lower end of things, they're just getting started. They need people who are going to come up and, be that draw. So that's exactly what he is for them. And I'm glad that he's successful. He needs to stay away from commentating, though.
I will say
no more commentating.
We gave him the low kick the other day. And I will say too that I'm looking forward to a potential Rampage versus King Mo fight. Light heavyweight.
That'd be nice.
They're both in Bellator now.
That'd be nice.
I always thought they were similar before. And so I'm looking forward to that, but I will have to wait because special announcement from Bellator. Tito Ortiz and Rampage Jackson will fight November 2nd in Bellator's first pay-per-view. Hopefully it's like $29.95. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that $55.95 type of deal, but and we kind of talked about this, Tito coming back and Rampage being in there, so they kind of combined both of them. I think. What's your opinion first?
I think it's going to get some pay-per-view buys. I'll be tuning in, and that's better than nothing. But as far as legit competition, it doesn't really do anything for me. Both of these guys are sort of past their prime. Last episode, we talked about how Tito Ortiz should, stick to coaching, stick to being a trainer, and he is not the type of person who should be jumping to the ring, especially with all his previous injuries. He's been hurt a ton. It makes no sense for him to go in and risk his future by going in to, maybe gain a little bit more fame, a little bit more pocket change. I don't know, but
I don't know where he'd go after this. I don't know where either one of them will go. So Bellator is going to be, and I loved IFL when I was there, but they were a super fight company where you put two guys up against each other, and then one of them wins, and you don't really, what do you do with them then? And you don't want to blow your wad early. You got Tito Ortiz, you got Rampage Jackson. Filter them in. Don't you have them get at each other first? It takes the loser goes home and it takes away some of this.
Or you could put both of these guys on a card together and have them face opponents, and I guess you sort of hope that they win. But maybe the thing is that they're not confident in either of these guys winning a sort of a preliminary fight. So
Bellator's first time coming out. You got to have some big names. So I get it. So we'll see and how it's gonna go. It's gonna be in November, so definitely something to talk about early fall or late fall. mid-fall, whatever. So, like I said, we'll watch it. We'll see what happens. It could be a great fight. I wanted to see them fight like 5 years ago. So everybody gets their wish. Like, it's like when you're a little kid and you ask for a present, you get it 5 years later. It's like, I'll still play with it.
At least I got it,
Right. So that's just so big shout out to Bellator. Put on a good card. There's a 97th card, so I gotta imagine they've got something special for the 100th.
Right.
I don't know if the 100th is going to be the Rampage versus Tito. It's about good timing, maybe. Yeah. So that could be 100. That would make sense. Right. So be watching out for Bellator. Definitely was a good series to watch. So we'll go right over.
It's still not as special as our 10th episode. They're 100.
It's like people's play.
Every time we say that,
like, cheers and drinks.
And like we're not no sponsorship by this drink, so we got the labels facing the wrong way. It's a good drink, but if you want to come and sponsor us, that's cool. Yeah. We could easily turn this around, but no free sponsorship. No, we're not gonna do
shirts
that.
and visors. People wear visors anymore. I wear those. Yeah. All right. I'll take a slap bracelet. Here's where I go off tangent. If you sponsor us, please make slap bracelets so we can just, those old school ones.
I like those.
Rock that out again.
I like those. They always broke though.
Yeah. And then they just turned into metal shards that you were like whipping yourself with. So once the cool fluorescent color wore off. So going into, so going into slap bracelets to the high kick of the week.
High kick.
Our high kick of the week goes to Robbie Lawler for his performance last week.
Speak up.
Goes to Robbie Lawler for his performance last week at UFC on Fox 8 versus Bobby Voelker. He was 170 pounds again. Back at welterweight, he started there, went up, went down. So he's at 170 pounds again, 170 pounds again. Got a second round head kick knockout over Bobby Voelker. Awesome. I mean, watching that card, that could have been the co-main event, and we're going to talk about the co-main event next. But, he looked the best I've seen him in years since he debuted.
Right. He was scary. He was scary.
He lived up his name with ruthless.
Yeah.
Vicious, ruthless. What other adjective you want. Yeah. It was good to see him like that. He's one of those that's kind of stayed in the rankings, worked his way back into the UFC, and now is cementing himself in there. Right. And I was kind of excited too because we watched MacDonald and fight on the co-main event, and whatever. We'll talk about it next. He won, but I said it'd be great to see Lawler versus Rory MacDonald in a fight. That would be a potential Rock'em Sock'em robot fight. When you have MacDonald versus wrestler, we'll talk about the next. You always have the potential of a boring fight. Lawler and MacDonald will not be a boring fight. And Dana White went on a couple days ago, said that he was planning on doing that fight. So, number one, that skyrockets Robbie Lawler up to what, like 4, 3?
That's easily. And I mean, to get a shot at MacDonald like that, I mean, it's we had to restate how well Robbie looked in this fight. And I mean, it was, he was strong, he was decisive, and a lot of the stuff that, people said in the past about him was that, he didn't mentally have the edge that a lot of other fighters had. He's always been pretty good physically, but he's never had that mental edge and the killer instinct. But man, was it on display in this fight. And he showed everything, and that's why I'm sure that Dana's really excited that he's gotten his stuff together and has totally committed to the sport. So
makes sense too, man. American Top Team, he's there. His kickboxing looked phenomenal. And like I said, he landed with the kick, damn near knocked him out, and then did one more ground and pound. He just looked ridiculous at 170. I'm so excited to see him fight. Hopefully at the end of this year again. Maybe that's too early, but God, if him and Rory MacDonald are on that end of the year card, come on, man. Like if that kicks
along
off
with
the card,
Rousey and all, oh my God!
Dude, just let's do it up again, UFC. Just stack.
Pay for us to come. We love to cover the show there.
Stack that card, man. That's a perfect way to start off the pay-per-view portion of the night, man. So the high kick, Robbie Lawler, well deserved. Hopefully we see him versus MacDonald soon.
Low kick.
The low kick, keeping you with the Rory MacDonald theme. was the co-main event for UFC on Fox 8. Rory MacDonald versus Jake, the Juggernaut. Okay, so let me just wait, because I've been waiting to say this line. Boring fight. It's the most boring fight I've seen in a long time. If you're a Juggernaut, let's nerd it out. The Juggernaut character from X-Men.
He crashes through walls.
He bashes, he runs at you. That's literally why his name is Juggernaut. I don't know even, there's a definition, like forward motion, maybe, of a Juggernaut. Moving forward. He's got a big
and it doesn't matter what's there, he's going to go through it, straight through it.
So I hope Jake Ellenberger is, and I don't dislike Jake Ellenberger. No. I was expecting a decent fight, but you did not live up to your name of the Juggernaut that night. And Rory MacDonald, I'm not sure. It was one of those that both fighters were respecting each other too much. Yep. Rory did not want to wrestle, and so he didn't commit to get taken down. And Ellenberger didn't want to get lit up, so he just kept getting poked with the jab.
And you know what? Like, the perfect description of this to me was that you'll see a fight, and you'll see guys sort of fill each other out for the first maybe minute and a half, and then they get into the action. This entire fight was like filling each other out.
Right, 15 minutes of feeling out.
I haven't seen a crowd boo pretty much from, like you said, a 15-minute fight. I would say the crowd booed maybe 13 minutes.
And a half?
Right. I mean, like it was bad, it was stale, and it's on paper, that matchup looks like it could be,
Yeah, I was scared of it on paper too, man.
Right, and but sometimes I like when guys have different styles, because you sort of wonder who's going to be the style that sort of ends up dominating the fight. Yeah. But when you have two guys that are totally unwilling to commit and did not want to come in and mix it up at all, it turned into what exactly that fight was, which is horrible and boring.
Yeah, it was confusing for Ellenberger too, because this is your chance to really go forward and imagine if he would have beat Rory MacDonald. And Rory MacDonald got the win, but if Jake Ellenberger would have beat Rory MacDonald, he would have catapulted up the rankings again. And him not doing that, and Dana White's one that you bore him, you're not getting. His next fight's not going to be against anybody in contendership. He'll be against good people, but I mean, he's
going to have to work his way back up.
I'm a little mad too, because I was hyping this fight up with the people I was watching with, like, wait for this Rory MacDonald guy, he's a killer, he's going to light him up, he's going to do something crazy, just beat the crap out of him like he did BJ Penn, and like we were waiting. Everybody was like, is this the guy? What's he going to do? I'm like, right now, and never did it. So it's very confusing, man. Low kick's got to go to Rory MacDonald. I'm still excited to see what happens. Like I said, Rory versus Lawler, awesome. So once again,
and both of those guys are, sort of similar, so you would expect them to come in and mix it up. There isn't going to be someone who's going to be intent on trying to force it to the ground. Right. Should be a lot of stand up. More likely than not, somebody's going to get knocked out. So, that would be a good one. That would be a good one.
Yeah. So best of luck to Rory for his next fight, because he's being on a low kick is just also confusing for me. I never thought we would do this. But, So work your way back up, buddy.
Hey, just so everybody knows, anybody could be the low kick. Just like anybody can get some bull kick too. Anybody can be a low kick, but that does not mean that you can't be the high kick for your next fight.
It's true. We say whatever we want on this show. We will continue to say whatever we want on this show. So that's all I gotta say, is that we call it like you see it.
Our show.
And I feel like in the fight game, if you can get in there, professional, amateur, and take punches, you should be able to take some verbal punches too.
Yeah, and we just jabbing, And I think, it's all in good fun, but it kind of sucks when people sort of catch feelings a little bit. But I mean, this is what we do. We analyze fights, and this is our show, so we say whatever we want to say on our show.
Right. That's it. There it is. Let's go into the
much love, though. Much love.
Right, to everybody. Like I said, we do this for you.
No beef.
Move this man.
That's some BullKick.
Let's go into no beef except for Demetrious Johnson. Just kidding. We love you, man. But That's some BullKick this week goes to Demetrious Johnson. Demetrious, for saying that he wasn't looking for the finish in his fight versus John Moraga in the main event of UFC on Fox 8. That's what he said to Joe Rogan after the fight. which is really confusing to me because, okay, he won by submission, but you're not looking for them. He tried, it was back and forth. You were hunting you just couldn't get it.
Right.
So don't go on the mic when Joe Rogan says, what do you think about finishing fights, or do you care about finishing fights? And he says no.
Right. And he was at home. He wanted he wanted to finish that. He wanted to get a finish somehow, some way. His KO power isn't crazy, so you can kind of expect him to come in and try to do the submission, and that's what he was shooting for. And there's nothing wrong with that. But don't come in and say that you weren't looking for that when it was brutally obvious that you were.
And he's gotten a lot of criticism for being a boring fighter, which I don't agree with too. We've seen him live. He's, and even this fight was a great main event. John Moraga definitely stepped it up too.
Yeah.
Brought the best out of Johnson. Had him in a guillotine, or an armbar. Excuse
it was
me.
close.
It was close a couple times either way.
Yep.
So, just gotta say, like, even in the heat, when it's the heat of the moment, and you're at, the mic's in your face right after you fight. Yeah. Fighters say goofy stuff. They retire sometimes. They cuss. Sometimes they say one-word answers. I forgot who did that. That's the one. Mark Hunt.
Yeah.
One-word answer. Yes. Like what? Okay. But anyway, just be honest, man. Like, I was looking for it, I couldn't find it.
Right.
You kind of discredit your opponent when you say, like, oh, I wasn't looking for it. Yeah, you were. We just watched you fight for 25 minutes.
Right.
You were looking for it. So that's my BullKick man of the week, of just fighter accountability.
Right. And I mean, everybody's there, and there's nothing wrong with looking for the finish.
Right.
As a fighter, you should be looking for the finish.
I don't know.
Nobody wants to take it to a decision.
No.
And you should be looking for the finish.
Yeah.
So
have you ever heard that? Like, how are you preparing for your fight? I'm really looking forward to getting a decision.
Trying to go all 5 rounds and then have it be a coin flip. Yeah,
right.
that's what I'm looking for.
I really just can't wait to fight the full 25 minutes. And best of luck to both of us.
Yeah.
Hope we both win. Hope it's tied. Like, no, you're going. So anyway, very curious though to see now who Demetrious Johnson fights next.
Right.
It's a very shallow pool.
Yeah.
So the flyweights are just coming up. A guy we're going to talk about tonight, Ian McCall. He's fighting tonight, and maybe something with him.
Right.
Joseph Benavidez, he's there too. So I've got to feel like one of those guys that are coming up. But
right.
I think Mighty Mouse definitely got some more fans from this fight.
Oh, yeah.
Second time is the main event on Fox, so gotta get some more viewers from that.
Right. And I mean, whether regardless of how you win, it's a win. And he's stacking those W's. He has a firm grasp on the belt. So somebody's got to take it from him, and we need to find out who that person is going to be.
Yeah. So that's who is the BullKick for this week. I imagine the BullKick may be somebody from UFC 163 tonight.
Never know.
So we're
hoping not.
Why don't we right? Why don't we preview that now a little bit?
Yes.
Before we get out of here.
Yes.
Like I said, we are once again at Parkside Grill and Lounge.
Yes, Moline, Illinois.
Down here, UFC 163 pre-show, and we're not gonna cover the whole card because I'm gonna say too, the card's in Brazil, and I have to say that they're a little bit Brazilian biased on these cards. Yeah. And I'll be honest too, like some of these names, I don't know who they are. Like, I believe that they're made for the fans. It's hometown.
Right.
Fill the card up with Brazilians. I get it. So it works, but it's hard to cover that and talk about it when you don't know a whole lot of fighters. So we're gonna hit the ones that we do know about. We're going to start with the FX card, and we're gonna do my two fights to watch on the FX card. Anthony Peros and Vinny Magalhaes, Magalhaes we'll go with. That's the main event of the FX prelim. I don't know if you remember Vinny from The Ultimate Fighter.
Yes.
Ground wizard, magician, whatever, man. Just
pretty strong on the ground.
Right, awesome on the ground, man. Very fun to watch. Anthony Peros he reminds me of a bigger, like, Korean zombie type of fighter. He just goes.
Yep.
Takes an immense amount of shots and absorbs them, keeps going. So Vinny, I felt like, was one of those that I had winning the Ultimate Fighter. Didn't do that, but he's one of those that I always feel like is right on the cusp.
The edge.
Like he's very marketable, and people like him. Brazilian. He's got a face for TV too, so I feel like he could do a whole lot.
And but you can have all those qualities, but you have to be a fighter, and you have to be able to combine those two elements. And then, you know, if you can do that, you're going to have a great fighter. But until you get to that point, and, you know, hopefully he can show that in this fight so that, you know, he can start getting a little bit bigger of a push.
I want to say, too, that did he help Rashad Evans, or was he on the Black Zillions, too? I remember him in a UFC. I should have looked it up maybe, but I remember him coming out of a decent camp, too. Yeah. So excited to see him fight tonight and kind of advance out. I don't mean either one to be a good fight, so I feel like if he wins tonight, he's going to get a little bit better of a fight than Anthony Perosh is going to. So we'll see what happens. A fight I'm really excited to see, like we just said, Ian McCall versus Iliard Santos on the FX card. I love Ian McCall. Like, I love his mustache too. If I could I grow a massive beard. If I could grow a mustache with it, I would. I
can't grow a mustache at all.
I grow like those. I grow like the wispy California surfer.
I'm too dark to even show that. So what I get is the little creeper mustache over in the corner over here. Yeah, it's not a good look. Yeah, like you know, you just somebody mom this is come up and get.
I got the one that looks like I'm like 16, just trying to grow a mustache. It's real wispy and blonde, like it's gross.
But the crazy part, I can get the whole Rick Ross over here.
Saying. I can do that too, man. I can get the mountain man going. But anyway, back to so we love Ian McCall's mustache. But so anyway,
forget how he fights. He got a badass mustache.
I like this fight. Ian McCall pushes the pace the entire fight. Like fast forward, ridiculous. And like I said, I feel like he's 1 or 2 wins away from getting a shot at the belt. Him and Demetrious Johnson went back and forth. Or excuse me, him and Benavidez had their fights. Benavidez won. He got the nod. So I feel like Ian McCall's right there too. So excited to see him tonight. Iliar Santos, a Brazilian, not much known with me about him. You know, I just would think that Ian McCall gets the win. You know, I'm trying not to base it off of just his name. But,
I mean, but you know, that's sort of who we know. It's
hard to match his style though, too. I mean,
right. And especially when you have, you know, some of these guys who, you know, they're relative unknowns, or at least to us. You know, everybody can go on YouTube and find some footage. We did that. You can see how a guy fights a little bit, but you know, you can't really get everything from that. So, you know, I definitely would go with McCall in that fight too.
So we that's the FX, you know, highlights. And let's go into the card tonight. We're just gonna go right to the co-main event. And like I said, some of the other fights definitely Brazilian favored. So you know, we could be talking about them next week. But we are not this week. We're going to hit the co-main event with the ones that we know. Lyoto Machida versus Phil Davis. I've got Lyoto Machida winning this.
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and go with Davis. I still think that, you know, he got a nice push a few years ago. And, you know, he didn't really live up to that.
Right.
And I really think, you know, I still see him on the Sprite commercial and, you know, all of that. And
he's super marketable, man.
Right. You know, crazy marketable. And you just hope that he can put it together. And I think that he's going to do that this fight. So I'm going to go out on a limb and go with Davis in this.
I'm gonna back up my Lyoto pick by saying that I like Davis too. I was really excited to see him. Was he going to fight GSP at one point?
Yep.
Or no, he was going to fight. I'm sorry, it wasn't GSP. It was John Jones. I was excited to see Davis versus Jones. A couple of years back, and it never happened due to injuries and blah blah blah. But I was a big fan of his and still am. I just think that when I saw him fight in Chicago versus Evans, Rashad Evans, and he was so slow. It's like he got stage fright. You know, I was like, what is he waiting for? And you cannot be like that versus Machida.
No.
If you're slow versus Machida, you know, he's going to catch you. And I feel like what's going to happen tonight is he's going to go in for a shot and get kicked from some weird angle and get laid out. You know, Machida still, he doesn't get a whole lot of love now, but he's still knocking people out. He's still one of the most, and I'll steal their word, elusive fighters. But, you know, I stole that. But he's one of the weirdest guys. Like, you cannot hit him. He's in and out. He's this angles. His stance, karate stance throws you off. His kicks are different. Like, you know, I think it's going to be too much for Phil Davis tonight. So, you know, but if Phil Davis gets a hold of him and takes him to the ground, man, you got the action figure Davis on top of you, the whitest dude in sport. You know. And
I mean, just, you know, his size, super long arms, super long legs, and like you said, if he can grab a hold of Machida, it's going to be over relatively quickly. So,
So interesting, man.
Yeah,
I like how
we'll see. We'll see.
All right, different picks.
Yeah.
Going right into the main event of tonight at UFC 163 for the featherweight title. The current holder, Jose Aldo, versus Chan Sung Young. I feel like I want to say that because it's a Korean zombie, but this guy's got a name. Like it's Chan Sung Young is his name, aka the Korean zombie. Great fight, and guess what? I'm picking Korean zombie to win.
Oh.
Yep. I'm picking the zombie to
Out
win
on a
tonight.
limb, man. No.
And I went on Kick and Make Up Facebook page, and I clicked him to win there too. So I made it public tonight.
I'm gonna go on Kick and Make Up Facebook webpage and go in there and pick Jose Aldo like you should be doing. I don't exactly know why you would choose.
I'm gonna back it up.
I don't know exactly why. Well, explain why you picked one Mr. Korean Zombie.
So Korean Zombie has ridiculous jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Now Jose Aldo is trained by the Nogueira brothers. We've never seen it because we haven't needed to see it.
Right.
Need to see it because he just knocks people out ridiculously in 13 seconds. Blah blah blah. But I'm also gonna say too that in the later rounds we saw versus Mark Hominick, Jose Aldo gets tired.
Yeah.
He doesn't do much.
Yeah.
And I will say back to Korean Zombie, he's got a titanium chin, bigger than granite.
Yeah.
His name's not Zombie because he gets knocked out quickly. He pushes forward, and aside from kicks, I think he can take a lot of the shots. Today, and he just pushes forward, obviously. And I think that he's gonna catch him. And if it goes to the ground, I'm giving him the edge on the ground too.
I really think it's gonna be the exact opposite of that. Like it's gonna be one of those fights where Zombie's gonna push forward, but Aldo's gonna catch him with one, and it's gonna be over really quick. Well, I won't say really quickly. I'm gonna go second round, knockout Aldo.
I'm gonna go third round submission. Chan Sung Young, Korean Zombie via. I'm gonna say arm in triangle.
Wow.
Like, you sleeper with your own arm, because he's got the twister. One of the only people to do twister in the UFC, just with like the 8-step program to twister. Got that off, and then he choked out Dustin Poirier with his own Darce choke that he's known for. So I feel like something special is coming again tonight.
All right.
And I picked Weidman, so I'm going out on a limb again.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I picked Weidman, and we all know he's got the belt now. I like Anderson Silva, but I'm gonna go out, and I'm gonna pick Hendricks too later on. So it's gonna be a changing of the tides.
Hey, once we get to Hendricks, I'm going with him too. Like that's.
So I'm just saying early. That's just a preview of the 10 shows.
Can't wait till we get that far.
So. Yeah, man, I'm excited.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great main event. Either way, whatever happens, is going to be a ton of action. Going to be a ton of, it's the type of fight that people are going to want to see. Right. It's going to be the opposite of Ellenberger and McDonald. The exact opposite of that.
Literally the exact opposite.
Yes.
Like in all sense and form, please. Like decent card, great main event, co-main event.
Yes.
So I think they saved it a little bit there. So definitely excited to see it and see what happens. And we will be chatting it up next week on the show too. So make sure you guys check us out next week. Look out for the links. And that's a wrap for the episode 10, man. Here at Parkside.
Yes, Parkside Grill and Lounge.
Thank you guys for having us today.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys.
Can we all let people clap or something?
Right.
Woo!
We gotta build it up. We'll take.
That was awesome. I've never done that before.
Yes.
People clap.
So we
Ow!
you gotta have one of those in
Be
there.
louder than that. Come on. There you go. Thank you, Jazz. My daughter's the loudest person in here.
That's right, man. We got so www.kickandmakeup.com is the website. Kickandmakeup@gmail.com is how you email us. Facebook page, go there now. Cast your votes for UFC 163.
Yeah, get your votes in now.
Am I gonna be the only one picking Korean Zombie?
Yep.
Like, I don't care. I'll sit in that little box alone, my little picture right next to it. You guys can load up the Jose Aldo. I don't care.
Yep.
Twitter @KickandMakeup, and then mine @Hybrid MMA. It's about a wrap, dude.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Parkside. And remember, don't solve it in the streets. Take it to the cage and kick and make up.